Shane Lynch, one-fifth of one of the most successful boy bands in history, is on a journey back into his past to find out what might have been if he'd never made it big. So far, he's found he can still cut it as a lawnmower and has joyfully wrecked a perfectly nice Irish beach by riding his scrambler on it.
Coming home again.
Shane has now lived in England for nearly half his life, a period during which Dublin has changed almost beyond recognition.
I never changed with what was going on. I used to just arrive home and it has changed, and I think that slowly but surely separated me from this country. I really did miss, it's more my pals probably, it's more the social scene, like all the boys I grew up with from school and stuff.
Do you think about me now and then? 'Cause I'm coming home.
At the Grange Community College, as it's called, that's a school which asked me kindly not to come back. I wasn't a troublemaker by all means. But my best memories are just pulling up on my BMX and my horse.
Your horse?
I was cutting a bit of grass, and I think I was about 30 pounds, I think it was, 30 punt back in the day. Went down to the local travelling community and bought a horse off them anyway. Had never ridden a horse in my life, just thought this would be great. No saddle, no reins, no nothing. And got up on this horse, and so I couldn't even make it go. I sat on it for about 15 minutes, not knowing how to make this thing move. A bit of old rope, came down here, tied it up to the bike rack and went into school. But it was short-lived because that was not acceptable by the school at all.
How unreasonable. In lessons, Shane struggled with dyslexia, a condition that wasn't diagnosed until into his 30s.
I did wonder why I couldn't pick things up. I did wonder why I couldn't read that book. Sure, I didn't know what dyslexia was. I just accepted I couldn't read and write and made my way through life without talking about it, or without saying to anyone I couldn't read or write. Nowadays, I've no problem saying, look, I can't read or write, simply because there's a reason for it, as opposed to before I just thought, well, maybe I am just being lazy. So that's kind of my school history. I had to leave this place. Move on, Mr. Lynch, is what they said. And that was my school days over. Lucky enough, went on to work for the father.
It was 1991. Arnie was busily declaring he'd be back. Nirvana was storming the charts. And storming Norman Schwarzkopf was kicking a very bad man out of Kuwait. Meanwhile, Shane Lynch, having been kicked out of school at the age of 14, turned to perhaps the only man in Dublin willing to employ him, his father. Now he's come back to see if he can remember the skills that his dad taught him as an apprentice mechanic 19 years ago.
This is my father's garage. Great boss, actually. Firm when he needed to be firm, and fair when he was, you know, in good form. With a bit of luck now today, he'll be easy on me. I'll go and find out.
Grant. Ah, good to see you again.
Oh, good to see you indeed.
Are you ready to work?
No. Was I ever ready to work?
Get your arse.
No.
You're going to be nice to me? They said bring you back to your start.
Right.
So there's your brush.
There's my brush. Well, you know, I remember the days. I'll tell you what, we'll have a cup of tea first, I think.
That sounds better.
His first big challenge is tyre changing. For Shane, something of a blast from the past.
One of the things we used to do, we used to get the old tubes and see how far we could blow them up.
Right.
We used to be in here with the airline on it, and we'd get the tubes up to this size, and we'd go standing in there with the door shut, blowing them up, and the bang they used to make. There used to be some crack.
Oh, you didn't know anything about that.
I'm sure you did. First things first, let's break her down. Middle one?
Middle.
Right, now, this comes down somehow.
Yeah, slide it down, put it up against it. That's it. There you go. I think he saw it in the beginning as a way to get out of school. When he asked me for the job.
I definitely did.
Could he come and work?
I don't know how much of that whole story you know, but I had spent the summer on a family holiday. I meant to be going back to school, but I wasn't allowed because I was kicked out. And I think, I spent every day waking up in that morning, today's the day I'm going to ask you, today's the day I'm going to ask you, you know, dying to do it, but so scared of you saying no. Because if you said no, that means I had to go and now tell you that I can't go to school. So I was hoping for the yes before we even had to get into any of that. But I remember being in the old high ace we had.
That's right.
And I put my head through the curtains. Dad, don't really like school. Any chance of a job? Okay, son. Thanks. And I put my head back behind the curtains and
that was it.
I stressed out. 2 months stressed out coming to September, and that's all it was. Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Dad.
But sure, I was thrilled because the plan was for this to be the family business. And it still could be, like, if you ever get stuck with the singing, like, you can always, as you can see, he's still quite good, so you can always come back.
Shane seemed to be settling into the old routine rather well. And so just for a laugh, we invited along this bloke. His old school friend, Fran.
I need a bit of work done, kid. This is my new wheels, you know.
You couldn't come in any faster, could you?
I'm treating the wife. I heard you're back in town. Need a good mechanic. What's the crack, you alright?
Long time since you had the tools.
Leading lunatic. What's the crack?
How many years I know you?
20 and 21.
And as you see, nothing's changed with this guy. He's still flat out, still come in smoking, you know what I mean?
You hear something down there?
Can I hear something?
Yeah.
That's the thing about these boys. They come in on a wind-up, you know? You wouldn't know what they had me at. And the only reason why I ever passed an exam is because I sat beside him.
See, I had the brains, he had the looks, you know.
Pure forgery was what it was.
And I wanted to be in a boy band, but I'd rather work for a living, you know. I love going to work. I'm not handsome, but I'm dead cool, though, you know what I mean? He's sort of handsome, but he's got a spazzy run. He has his one fault. He runs like a spaz.
No, I'll tell you how I run like. That's not PC. You can't say that. I run like, what's his name out of Bleeding? John Travolta in Greece. Was it Greece?
He's got a skill with his jocks up here, right? Simon Cowell, right? And he always had the fold-ups, right? And he always had, like, slip-ons that just didn't even fit him. I think it was Daz.
Boys like Franco, you know, you go off around the world, you tour around the world, and you come home, and it's the same crack. You pick up like nothing's ever changed. And that's why you stay... Yeah. That's why you stay, you know, close to your friends and stuff. Good pals are always good pals. Isn't that right, son?
That's right, son.
It's okay. It's okay. Walk away. Go on, you loser.
Shane was happy blowing up tyres and making cups of tea. It was 1994. The Channel Tunnel was opening. Tony Blair was taking charge of the Labour Party, and Britpop was about to take hold. Meanwhile, Shane was about to launch a musical revolution of his own. A friend had come up with a radical idea to start an Irish boy band, and soon the two had an appointment to meet pint-sized pop impresario Louis Walsh. There was only one problem. He needed the morning off work.
Now, I'm scared, you know, asking him this question because rain, hail, sleet, snow, it doesn't matter. In this business, you come to work. So to ask him for time off was a big deal. Busy garage. But nonetheless, I built up the courage. Dad, I need to go see a manager. I'm going to be in a band. Is that right, son? So, yeah. Right. Tell me something, he says. Do you sing? No, Dad. What instrument do you play, son? I don't play an instrument. Right. What are you going to do in this band? I'm not really sure. You better be back by 2 o'clock.
In 1993, at the tender age of 17, Shane recklessly cast aside his promising career as a car mechanic, throwing it all away to start a new job as a pop star. Auditions were held, and before he knew it, Shane found himself thrust into the limelight as Boyzone were infamously announced to the world on Ireland's Late Late Show.
The thing about it is, though, guys, we only got together last night, right? The final auditions were last night, and we only found out the word tonight that we were together. So we got it together in the dressing rooms for a half an hour. So what you see tonight was only rehearsed for a half an hour.
I'm going to be the new Irish pop group.
You're going to be the new Irish pop group.
That's right.
At the Teeny Bopper Market.
Teeny Bopper Market.
Yes, I see.
It had been a curious start, but the band had something special. Shane was joined by Ronan, the blonde, beautiful Irish one, Stephen, the short, gorgeous Irish one, Keith, the tall, dark, handsome Irish one, and Mikey, the Irish one. They played their first ever gig at this pub in Nass, a venue with round tables.
Yeah, this place, it actually looks the same. You know, 17 years ago. Same table and chairs,